Well, let's see here. Let me turn all these radios down first. Whoops, that went off. So I don't interfere with myself here. Looks all right. All right. This power supply, ICT Comm series. This radio, Motorola Astro Spectra, and this cheap CHY 830L. It's measuring currently 13.79 volts, roughly 7.8, and this is connected with the old probes. The actual probe tips came off both lines, so that's why I opted for the other the other meter, just the regular volt-ohm meter. So this digital volt-ohm meter is roughly across the terminals on the back of the power supply with the Motorola Astro Spectra. So it's measuring the voltage from the power supply across the circuit. And I suppose that means that is a parallel circuit. So low power, 146,490. The antenna is tuned, I believe. Yep. So low watts should be 25 watts. Testing, Kilo 4 Alpha Romeo X-ray, K4ARX. So it pulls it down a little bit. But if I go up to high power, testing, Kilo 4 Alpha Romeo X-ray, K4ARX. And it doesn't seem to struggle now since I have reworked the connectors on the back. It was very tricky because the ignition switch wire, or the ignition sensor switch wire, can't see it there, that tiny red wire on the left, which passes under the coax connectors to that bigger red wire on the positive side. Reworked the connectors. There is no electrical tape on this circuit. It's all been removed and clamped together. I have used, let's see if I can safely pull this out. I keep an open toolbox now, but I've got these little, tiny little spade connectors, and I used the flat spades, the males, I think, to connect a lot of this together. I just installed those in the end of the wires so they have something for the screws to hold. Some of these wires are so tiny, specifically the wires on the digital volt-ohm meter. It took a lot to clamp those around the casing of the wire as the wire itself in order for it to hold on the end of the wire, and then the screws to hold into the power supply. So the Johnson power pole wires are done the same. So everything has a spade on it, and they both sit on either side of either screw. So you have the positive lead from the radio and the positive lead from the digital volt-ohm meter on one screw, a spade on either side of the screw, and that's the way it fits. It's just a big screw head, I guess. It's just a big flathead screw. But that's the way it works, and it seems to work better. It hasn't powered off yet through either low or high power like it normally did yesterday. So I think it was just random disconnects through poor connectors. So I just restripped the wire casings and redid the connectors, and it seems to work better. But that's how much power it pulls on that particular power. Not this one. This one does great because it runs two radios at once, or at least it has been for a while. But I normally only transmit with one and receive with the other. Of course, at the same time. I don't know anybody that would talk on 10 meters and UHF at the same time anyways, but that's the way that works. And I haven't measured it yet, but it seems to be set properly. I've measured it before, but it seems to be set properly. And I don't know. This is the main issue here. That particular station needed to be done, and I think it lacks power in my opinion. It may be some kind of amperage drop. I'm not sure. It seemed like the Spectra got hot fairly quick over time, and I'm thinking that's also conducive to the fact that it's just struggling for power or lacking power. And I got to research that power supply, to see exactly how many amps you can pull. And I'm not sure. I think I know how to set that for amperage, but I don't know. The way it was explained to me is that it is wired in series and not parallel across a circuit. But you could go parallel across a circuit with a certain resistor between those two ports, or positive and negative on the back of that power supply. But I'm not really sure. I'm still learning this stuff. Gosh, I'm way behind. But this is what I'm trying to do this morning as a result of last night, and pretty much missed the net. I checked in with a 202 and was received as a check-in. It got skipped, and maybe he forgot. Maybe he didn't hear me like he claims. But anyways, couldn't check in because the Spectra was down. So got a little down, but I think I fixed it.